The fucking deep ones? Like, Grendel? Hello, Grendel, you having a bath? Yeah, dude.
He'll pull you down.
Nah, your boy's sleeping in the village. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series, reading a storm of swords. As always, I'm your host, Zach. Sitting here next to me is my brother, Nate.
I'm Nate.
You're making a face.
I'm not making a face.
You're already starting it.
We are a full spoiler reread podcast of George Martin's Song of Ice and Fire.
I just said that.
And you said it terribly, so I had to reiterate. If you haven't joined us before, we are full spoiler. If you don't want to be spoiled, go read the series.
Nate's
come back.
a fucking child. Well, while we're at it, just at the top of the show.
Okay. If you joined us last episode, what were we reading?
Arya 7.
It's written right there.
Gendry was knighted. It was sweet.
He has the Knight of the
And
Hollow
then the
Hill.
Hound laughed at him,
That was sweet.
and that was cool. And the Hound was pissed that he was missing gold and shit, which you can't really blame him.
They gave him an IOU. What does that do for you in this fucking time?
So, speaking of Arya, I just did it again, yeah. Micah Clark on Twitter
Yeah.
today shared that Arya Stark will be appearing in a new video game, apparently, via Warner Brothers, where it's a Smash Brothers-like, but she's alongside the likes of Bugs Bunny, and
It's a brawler with
It's
Arya
a
Stark.
brawler with Arya Stark.
Fuck yes.
And it's just very interesting.
Yo, I want to see Bugs Bunny. What's
Micah
up, Doc?
shared the
Arya?
the so check it on I actually should have that.
Is it at Micah_Clark?
I think so. I should have pulled it up.
Yeah, he'll find it by the time we get to the small council.
Right, for sure.
He's unprepared, ill-prepared. Yeah, I'm going to stop because
So,
I'm the worst.
That was Arya. This episode, we are reading Bran.
Last Bran was the fucking Knight of the Laughing Tree.
Yeah, we had, obviously, some intense discussion, as does many people in the fandom, over that story that Bran is told, and pretty insistent upon by the reads that they're surprised he's never heard before of what occurred at the tourney of Harrenhal.
I'm resisting a lot of urges.
With
to
a
just...
mystery knight. This, of course, amidst the backdrop of them traveling north, steadily further and further away from Winterfell. And at this point, they were in some sort of mountainous terrain. They also met a potential Nori or Little.
Who knows?
In the woods. And so, yeah, there was lots of traveling, lots of storytelling, which is also a theme that continues in today's chapter, Bran 3.
Holy shit.
Bran, Mira, Jojen, and Hodor have arrived at Queenscrown and what remains of the town beside it, which isn't much, if ever it was to begin with. The
tower mirrors itself in the lake. Now, did we not get an almost identical, like, I feel like we see the mirrored image of Harrenhal in the Isle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
And the lake
mirror imagery is very intense. I mean, you get reflecting pools and such like that of sometimes they're portals into other realms, which it could be viewed upon as Bran's journey from this point just gets kind of stranger and stranger and is a descent down the rabbit hole, in a sense, through the looking glass type of scenario. Or also there's that self-reflection of what do you see when you look in a mirror, and
tower.
Bran's going to be doing a lot of that in the coming chapters, with his warging abilities becoming more prevalent and learning that maybe doing what you're about to do to Hodor isn't okay.
You're bad, man.
But this is the first village they've seen since leaving the mountains. Mira has scouted it out, of course, making sure that it's empty because she's a badass.
So we're going to highlight this here because we technically highlighted somebody else doing this exact same thing way back in Game of Thrones, maybe probably Clash, where Arya was sneaking through the woods, sneaking up on animals and shit. Mira snuck up on 3 deer. Now, how would Bran know that if he wasn't warging into Summer?
Because Summer takes off after him. Like, she startles them up out of
So, that's
the town.
awesome. But what I was technically actually highlighting, though, because You answered my question there. Mira snuck up on 3 fucking deer, yo.
Yeah, she startled them. I mean,
she's a sneaky.
It could be seen as that, not to take away from Mira, because she certainly is. But
or they just haven't seen people long
right,
enough.
That's how long abandoned this has been. That it's a comfortable bedding down spot for these deer. I think a little of both for sure. And yeah, there's Arya is reminiscent of Jon Snow in frame and build, and we know that Jon Snow and Mira Reed are twins. So, that's just the way it goes. They're siblings. It's happening. Howland Reed.
So Bran is warging into summer down there.
Took Princess Leia, and Luke went off to Tatooine the Wall.
Okay. Are you done?
Farm moisture.
Okay. Enough of you.
So Bran wants nothing more than to slip his skin and join with Summer to go hunting after the deer, but reluctantly follows the others into the village. It's become that easy for him.
So here's where I'm gonna veer a little crazy here. Bran wargs frequently because he's crippled. He's unable to walk, and so he probably wargs more than necessarily somebody might if they could escape just by their own means. And so this means that Willis is a warg, right? Into his birds.
Maybe.
He wargs into his ravens, and that's why he's such a good ravener. Hawker, falconer, bird master.
I'd be down for it, but if he's one of the other dreamers, the other sleepers that Bran saw when he saw the world, and he saw the ones that were impaled, and some of them didn't open their eye in time. If Willis is one of them, what is his drive?
Willis wouldn't be one of them. Willis would be in a bird above them watching, because he didn't. He's down there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is so he opened his eye, but he had that moment still.
But he's too far away to get any help.
Right, but why? He's just sitting there and
he's basically enjoying his bond with his badass birds.
Yeah, I'm not saying what's Willis's motive. I'm saying what's the motive of what awoke his fucking third eye, which we know at this point to be Bloodraven. He's crippled. And so why the fuck would Bloodraven want just someone who's sitting in Highgarden, unlike Bran, who is crippled but moving?
I don't think it's gifted upon by Bloodraven. He's not the one that determines all of the Green Seers.
But he's the one sending these signs and symbols.
Because he's mastered the art of using it.
You don't think he was manipulating Bran's eye and opening?
I think he assisted in it, but I think it was there without Brendan Rivers. He might not have opened it without him.
Well, there's a difference between warging and green seeing. I think the warging was always there.
Right.
The green sight
green sight's a bit different, but I'm talking more the warging.
That's not... I'm talking about opening his third eye.
No, he just wargs,
He just
man.
wargs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just warging into it. He's a fucking...
Okay, sure. But, why? Why do we need a warg? I mean, it'd be cool.
Awesome.
And Sansa ends up with him, maybe. That'd be neat. Cool. But,
I like it. Told you it was off.
Mira doesn't like wide open spaces. And Jojen's like, Bran, who owns this land? What is this?
And we get the gift.
This is the Night's Watch's land, technically. The gift, the new gift. Lewin had taught him all about it. All about it, Lewin. We miss Lewin.
Right. So this was land that was given by Bran. No, that was the next one.
No, it is Bran the Builder. Yeah, he gave it to the Watch for their sustenance and support. And Bran's like, fuck yeah, I even got the right, terminology that Lewin used.
Lewin would kill it.
Which is a total fucking mood, because, I remembered something. Yeah, I get you, Bran.
Love it. And the Watch is allowed to tax these people so that they can make an income to be able to clothe themselves, feed themselves, pay their
25 leagues of relatively fertile, good land. And thousands of years later, good Queen Alysanne visited with her dragon Silverwing, and she doubled the size of the gift. She was so impressed with the honor and chivalry of
chivalry.
Yeah,
That's
okay. We're there tonight.
The fuck is a chivalry? That's a chivalrous quality. You're fucking welcome. Digging you out of the trenches again.
I don't accept that. I'll just take the blunder. I fucked up.
And so that doubled it to 50 leagues.
Yeah.
But after time, as we know, the Night's Watch has no men, and they haven't for a long time. And so it wasn't able to be sustained properly. They didn't have the people to live there. And then wildlings.
We get the description in between here of the village. It's fucked, long abandoned, and the inn isn't much of one standing if it ever was in the first place. There's a big old fucking apple tree. Apples littering the floor or the ground, rotten, and so the stench is kind of in the air. It's tranquil and peaceful, but Bran thinks there's something sad about an empty inn, and Hodor seems to feel it too.
So he's already touching up on Hodor's emotions here. Or he's just assuming it is.
Or their emotions are, starting to sync up. I don't know. Or if the show, is anything to go off of, like, is Hodor kind of recognizing this landmark of the journey? Like, if Hodor is broken by Bran in the way that the show indicates that he may be, is this not just sort of like, oh shit, like this is the final leg for me. This is what leads to
we're almost
everything,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Like if there's not some memory, and that's why Hodor's sad. He doesn't know it. Bran doesn't know it, but somewhere in his subconscious, he's just like,
and yet,
Hodor.
Though, Bran still is aware of how Hodor feels about this, regardless of what's causing the feelings. And so he's already building that. I mean, they've known each other for a long time, and so I know that we crucify. I was looking for the right word there. We crucify Bran for going into Hodor's mind like this, but Bran's 7? I know I'm way off there. It's what we do. But he's 12, 13, 11. It's hard to tell. Time is hard. Time is hard for me. And he doesn't know any better. That he doesn't realize or didn't intend to go in and fucking mind grab.
Right. This first time is absolutely innocent, and I hold nothing against him because it's purely a panic. He's scared. George is very particular in making this first time an accident, and we'll get to that when we get to that, because there's deliberate horror language to show the stress of the situation on these kids. Like, they are fucking children.
Even Mira and
Jojen, right. They are all children here with an adult disabled man. He's not, right, he is not capable of making decisions, or at least not vocalizing them in a way that people can comprehend and understand.
And yeah, if it wasn't such a real, grounded world, this is a very fantasy creature, the Bran-Hodor relationship.
Oh, right, absolutely.
The body and mind
but
put
Bran
together
is more
in two
and more,
separate...
and one of our listeners points this out as well, we'll get to that in Small Council, that Bran starts narrating more and more in this chapter what Hodor is thinking and feeling, or what he likes or doesn't, or what he wants or doesn't, and it's very subtle on George's part, but it is becoming more prevalent that Bran, probably because we learn how much fucking time Bran spends in this basket on Hodor,
right.
They're just there, and Bran wants to slip his skin more than anything. But Jojen is saying, don't get lost in summer, so he's restraining himself.
He's getting almost fluid, where he's kind of melding.
Right, is he just kind of slipping into Hodor while they're together and so close, just doing it because he's frustrated, because he wants to.
And not even realizing
right, but he's a kid, so he's kind of letting, he's turning the faucet on real quick and then off. And it's just that. He's not even realizing it.
Yeah,
he wants to do it. Right. It's almost like when you're super tired and you kind of start nodding off, and he's
slipping into Hodor's repetitive walking.
So he knows that. It obviously it's not released yet, but our Patreon listeners can now go listen to the Arya episode with Chloe, Arya 8 with Chloe, that we've already recorded, and in it, Chloe tells me to let loose my tinfoil. So here we go real quick. Is that, will we see, this is my tinfoil question for you, will we see this inn again through Bran? Through the Weirwood Network? Is that why they're both sad? Is because through Bran knows what's happened here, or will, and therefore it's this sad memory of, because there's, obviously the theory that Bran is all the Brans. Brandon the Builder's new gift is mentioned here. This is Brandon the Builder's gift. So is this Bran gave this gift, and then something with the inn is a little more tragic than...
Right.
So, just a weird, but do you think we'll see this inn again?
I mean, it's definitely possible, because there is a lot of Bran-heavy history here, because he did mention, it was supposedly Bran the Builder that gifted it, but a lot of others think that it was some other Bran.
Right, it could have been any other Bran.
And right,
so we get that immediate sort of mushing of them all together.
And then we're also going to get Bran the Shipwright coming up, and we're going to get, there's all the Brans are kind of coming to light right now. So it very well could be that, the first...
And, Bran, our POV, is currently learning about and experimenting with his gift. Can I say that? Can I do that?
That adds a little spice to the tinfoil.
Brandon's
too.
gift is his warging, his green sight that he is currently, whether he intends to with Hodor or not, is he wants to use it. He wants to learn. He wants to grow. Sure, it's also steeped in that I'm a cripple now and I hate it because he's a kid and he deserves to. Right. It's unfair. His legs were stolen from him by the Lannisters. And so he wants to do it because he wants to run with Summer. But doesn't that mean he'd also want to walk as Hodor?
Right.
And maybe not even admit it to himself.
Sure. And so, he definitely could be...
it's the Bran imagery here, the Brandon imagery makes me think that we could potentially see something at this inn, a vital scene. Maybe.
Yeah, a lot of different, especially with Jon here, too, with him coming
Well, right, Jon and Ygritte's separation here is about to happen in the next chapter, and Jon basically... betraying the wildlings for the Night's Watch, revealing that he was a turncloak in truth.
Maybe there was a mirrored
right, and so maybe it's that sadness or maybe that's it. Is that Bran will come back and just see it at fully and understand now why Jon was here and what he had to do, and maybe that's why the inn is sad to him because
he sees that
Jon
understands
Jon's pain.
He loved her.
Jon had to leave her, and then the next time they see each other, she dies. That could be the reason why Bran is picking up on it, and I would love to see that in Dance of him, in Winds. I'm sorry, a chapter of him.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever
getting everything, and it's just that he sees the inn with him and Hodor, that him and Hodor were sad over, and there's Jon saying goodbye to his lover as he flees, taking an arrow from her,
a man cloaked in black saying
and
goodbye
the
to
whole
a woman
thing
kissed by
steeped
fire.
in heavy sadness, because that's the language George would use, so that way it ties back to this sadness they felt. But it's anyway. Jojen asks, why is no one here, right? And Bran's like, wildlings, dog. They scale the walls. They come down from the mountains. And the Night's Watch ain't what it was thousands of years ago. So,
most moved on to the Great John's land. Because while they get raided, it's not nearly as often as over here. And technically, they got people there that'll be like, yo, we'll fuck you up.
And let's start a counter. Ding! Old Nan used to say that they would turn your skull into a cup from which to drink blood. Hey, G.R. Mormont. That's some good imagery before the traitors up at Craster's Keep are dealt with.
From a skull.
Yes. Deliberately done. I just blumbered there, but deliberately done on George's part to show the fucking wildlings, the stories, the horror stories that old Nan's telling Bran. That's a nice watch, bro. That's people from King's Landing. That's Southerners.
So here's the thing. Where else would they be hearing these stories from? That's where old Nan... I know that let's pretend for a second that Old Nan isn't an ancient, old, wise, all-knowing being.
Like, that's what I mean. I feel like Old Nan's wildlings aren't the classification of the free folk. Her wildlings are, like, actual fucking barbarians that live, down in Sithorios.
Beat cannibals.
It's like, actual, like, Old Nan's 1,000 years old eldritch entity, so her wildlings are, like, wildlings we can't even comprehend.
Right, and so any stories that are coming to, if Old Nan was just a regular person who was, believed to not be crazy wild, then she's hearing all these tales from the Night's Watch.
Right.
It's not like there's wildlings here telling these stories. The only people that would be down here sharing those tales would be men of the Night's Watch.
Or Bales the Bards and Mance Raiders.
Or, that's it. But they're out singing all the songs.
Well, to follow that vein, just because it's fun, like, would it not benefit Mance to spread these tales anyway, though? Like,
sure.
They're fucking sad. Yeah, dude, they'll drink your fucking blood.
Right.
Like,
and so it just goes to show that a lot of those stories
propaganda.
Propaganda.
It's propaganda. But Jojen slowly turns his head, listening to music only he could hear.
Like the Rains of Castamere?
Dude, it's just Jojen. Like, my guy.
As this storm begins brewing.
Yeah, he says immediately that they need to take shelter. There's a storm coming. And Bran's like, I guess it could be, but, like, it looks far away.
But let's go to there. Let's go to the tower. Let's go hole up in the tower.
And Mira's like, oh, my sweet sweet prince, we have no boat. And he's like, oh, yeah, shit. The causeway, though, under the water?
How about the secret hidden causeway that you guys know nothing about? What about that?
Guess what? Counter number 2. Ding! Old Nan told me about it. And then he's like, look up there. See those crenellations? Yeah, crenellations, where they are gold painted from when good Queen Alysain stayed the night, and they were like, hey, we're gonna paint these gold in your honor.
This is a fucking landmark, man.
Yeah.
So I like what George does here. He gives a 100% true, accurate thing, part of history, with this secret causeway, and it's true. Right after he said, well, Old Nan said they drink the blood out of the skulls of their enemies, which they'll do just for fun, because it's funny, the wildlings, technically. But how quickly he goes from having this wild, scary tale, now here's this crazy, they're going to prove that it's true.
I hate this. I hate this so much. I could not do this. I could not walk on this fucking causeway. Hey, Brotherhood Without Manners listeners, Zach here is fucking terrified of deep, murky water. I could not fucking do this. I couldn't. Sure, yeah, the Hodor slips twice. Dude, like, I had a panic attack we'll get there. But, like, Bran is certain. He knows for a fact that it's there. And Mira is super...
Everything leading into the water
is straight.
And out of the water from the other side in front of the door makes it look like there was just a broken, collapsed bridge here or something.
It's just a straight run. Like, you can get there. Mira's able to find it easy enough. And, yeah, she starts Dungeons and Dragons-ing, 10-foot pulling, like, ahead of them. And, yeah, it's not straight. It zigs and it zags, unlike Rickon in the show.
Like...
Hodor, and yeah, dude, Hodor slips a few times, and Bran, like, panics, because he's like, yo, if I go in this lake on this basket, Hodor's probably going to flail around and, like, knock me out, and I'm dead.
This tactic, I love this defensive technique, though, to have it where, like, if anybody tried, not a large number,
brilliant,
obviously,
yeah.
It's small scale, but
they're exposed for so long.
I mean, sure, there's ways around it, and you could contemplate tactics all you want, but it's just such a neat concept, and I loved it.
Right. It's hard to march men right up to the base of this. Holdfast is the point, yeah. And, yeah, Hodor almost slips a few times. He's good, though, but fuck that. The water gets as high as Hodor's waist. Chest high.
Deep.
Ah!
Chest deep for Mira and
Dude.
Jojen. You know there's like seaweed and shit rubbing all up against them. Hopefully, you think it's like a seaweed.
Is Planetos.
What if it's...
You don't know what the fuck is in this lake.
The ghost fish?
Like the deep ones? The fucking deep ones? Like, Grendel? Hello, Grendel, you having a bath? Yeah, dude.
He'll pull you down.
Nah, your boy's sleeping in the
Love it.
village. Like, I'll be joining the old man and getting killed by the fucking wildlings in the night. Cause,
You're silly.
Baby,
You're
what is you
silly.
doing? Get off of this thing. It's not safe. So
They got off of it because they make it safely to the other side.
Everyone, we can breathe again. They are out of the fucking... Now they have to get back. How are they going to get back? Oh, my God. They're stuck on this island
They're going to do the
forever.
same thing back.
So they reach the warped door. The plank's long, twisted, out of place. And Mira gives it a good shove, and they're able to enter. They enter a very small room with steps both leading up and down that are both behind iron grates. And directly above, Bran sees a murder hole just above his head. Which, like... Ew.
Like, look, I could get shot in the head by an arrow.
You ever get the feeling of being watched? Like, what if right as he looked up, something pulled back? Like, ew.
Why? You're making this the worst of the worst.
Dude,
like,
it's fucking horrible. Fuck this place. I don't
Queenscrown
like
is beautiful.
No, it's haunted. This place is haunted.
Jesus.
I know it. So,
fucking lost my place. In my
Hodor
notes.
just starts like pummeling the shit out of these,
yeah.
which like George actually described. He starts punching the hinges until the air is thick with fucking rust dust. And like, Hodor, can someone tell Hodor to stop? That is not. You're gonna get a cut. You're gonna get fucking tetanus because there's fucking rust particles. Like, you can't just be punching a fucking hinge on an iron grate in a stone fucking holdfast.
And so Bran grabs a hold of one and says, "Here, like this instead, Hodor. Stop." Ting. And he pulls it right down.
Just Mira floods her basement.
Oh, no. He thinks
she humors the shit out of
she's like, looks like
My
you're
prince!
stronger than Hodor. And he blushes. And that's what I was going to draw attention to, is just, again, she compliments him. And he just immediately blushes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just and it's...
She knows what she's doing.
I don't like it, though, because
I love it.
he loves... Like, it's so sweet, but he's going to turn into fucking heartless, cold, dark...
Well, I mean, going based on your favorite fucking thing in the world, how is she ever going to forgive him for consuming her brother?
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I don't want... Why do you... Like... He's building it up now.
I hate this.
To break it down later. And it's...
The Reeds are sweet little baby angels, and they deserve nothing bad to happen to them.
Right.
And you heathens out there believe that Jojen was mashed up and turned into a little beast.
He was mashed.
I hate that so much.
And he has to eat them. And it's awful.
I hate it. But yeah, Bran pulls the grate from the murder hole, and they're able to climb up. Hodor boosts them all up. And then, this confused the shit out of me, though, because, like, I thought murder holes were, like, like, maybe Mira, Bran, and Jojen, but, like, for Hodor to fit? Goddamn, I didn't know they were actually, like, that big around, like,
sure.
Or a thing. I thought they were, like, arrow slits, maybe some boiling pitch, maybe a big stone thrown down, but, yeah, for Hodor to fit through, like, goddamn.
Big old...
But yeah, Bran tells him basically to go get some big rocks, and he does. He starts getting some big old boulders, and he stocks them in a pile until he can reach up and pull himself up and out. And like, dope. Fuck yeah, Hodor. And then he's all like kind of proud of himself, which is dope. Like, good for you.
Yeah, so they start making their way up that fucking tower.
And the higher they get, the lighter it gets. There's a metaphor in there somewhere. And they go to the very top of the roof, and the sky is overcast. The wind immediately begins snapping at Bran's cloak. And Mira has a great little moment here because she's enjoying the freedom.
I really enjoyed this moment for her because she just is entranced with the height and openness, and she even mentions it. And Jojen tries to shoot her down. He's like, there's trees way taller than this in the neck, way taller. And she's like, yeah, but it's not as open.
The neck presses close.
The
world presses close.
I was gonna mention the red wedding, but
the sky is much smaller there. Here, look, brother. See how the world has grown. Yeah, it's really nice. It's just this enjoying the moment for what it is. And Bran was hoping that he could be able to see the wall from here, but he's like, that's fucking stupid. It's got to be at least 50 leagues away. And then he asks Jojen, what are we going to do when we get to the wall? Like, how are we going to get over it?
Abandoned keeps, of course.
The empty castles.
The
One of them
ghost
may
castles.
hold our way through. Right, old man counter number ting.
Ghost castles.
Ghost castles.
Love that.
Fucking tell me this tower isn't haunted.
Bran goes. Another one for Lewin.
Hey.
Bran, you had to learn all 19 of the keeps. 17 only ever being manned at one time. Not nearly that. What do we know? 4? And like 3 of them are barely manned.
So we get a deleted scene
Currently.
from King Robert's feast. Where Bran had recited them all for Uncle Benjen. What the fuck? Why didn't I get to see this?
And backwards.
Forwards and back, east to west, and then west to east. Yeah, and Benjen had laughed.
And said he couldn't do it himself.
Maybe Bran should be first ranger.
Man, that's funny.
But that was before he was broken. And when he had woken, his uncle was gone.
Man, he's gone. But they're Garrett's cold hands.
But Bran says that the gates were sealed with ice and stone when they were abandoned, and Mira says, well, we'll just have to open them up. And Bran's like, we shouldn't do that. Bad things might come through. Which, I mean, Jesus.
Right.
Also, kind of harkens back to Ygritte telling Jon that they opened all those graves, let all those shades loose in the world, and for what? Like... There's some scary shit moving, man. There's some scary
fault.
shit.
He let it all up out in the world because he started digging.
Is it all Mance's fault?
Yep.
Oh.
And Euron.
But Bran's like, how about we do Castle Black for no reason? That'd just be cool, right? Like, they'd let us through.
No, listen. Hear me out. My father was very friendly with the Watch, and my uncle's first ranger. Right now, currently, first ranger.
And Jojen kind of reminds everybody that currently... Bran and the Starks were dealing with 2 of the worst fucking people you could want to be dealing with at the moment, which are the Iron Men and the Bastard of Bolton. So, like, all it takes is one motherfucker.
One piece of shit, which we know there are a bunch of them right now at Castle Black.
Especially at Castle Black, my guy. Like, with
a bunch of more shitty ones
and
coming.
Jojen just ain't having it. Like, all it takes is one. And Bran's like, but Benjen may know where the 3-eyed crow lives. Ha 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 ha.
Do you think he does?
I mean, if he left the cache of Dragonglass, like, I think he may at least be aware of
They're
things.
in cahoots.
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think so.
I think there's something to this line, but he's also hoping, of course, to see Jon and Benjen again, because last word had said Benjen was missing, but surely he's back by now.
You're freaking me out, man. That's what Jojen says.
Jesus.
I know. Well, that's what you're doing with me with your creepy, crazy laugh. Jojen silences them as he's spotted a rider in the village below. Everyone look. A villager. They're not a villager. It's a man riding. And so, where am I at my notes?
Making for the village.
Thanks.
So they all retreat below as the rain begins to fall in earnest. And they sit in the floor that's kind of open to these 4 different balconies looking out. And Mira creeps up on her belly to peer across the lake. And the man in the village has made a fire in what remains of the inn. And they argue about a fire of their own, but Jojen's like, no fire!
He gets his way.
Right. Like, fire
always.
means smoke.
This right here is why he gets turned into paste.
Keeping them alive?
So they ate some duck that they had. It's not as good as it would have been warm if Jojen would have let them have a fire, but it's still edible, and it's Bran's turn to tell the story tonight. What story did they tell, Zach?
He tells of another Brandon Stark. Brandon the Shipwright, who sailed off beyond the sunset sea.
Yeah, man. Think you found anything?
I do.
What?
I do.
Oh, that's
so get your tinfoil hats
again,
out.
man.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
So, here it is. Here's the end game for you. Brandon Stark, Brandon the Shipwright, sailed off across the sunset sea, never to be seen again.
Who said never to be seen again? You said that. Okay. Nice. Go.
No.
I wrote the quote down to make sure that I had that. Brandon the shipwright, who had sailed off beyond the sunset sea.
Yeah.
Didn't say never to be seen again. Just that.
In A World of Ice and Fire.
Oh boy, damn. Uh-oh. Eating crow.
He is confirmed as never seen again because his son...
Damn it.
I believe another Brandon, but I could be wrong on that, but he's nicknamed the Burner because he burns all his ships in grief.
Oh, good
because
golly.
his father never returns.
Good golly, Miss Molly. Never to be seen again. Continue with
Well,
your tinfoilage.
Perhaps never to be seen again, because my tinfoilage is that he did find land. He settled somewhere and established an additional Stark line. So when the White Walkers come and clear out Westeros,
Okay.
our main cast of survivors, the few that do, are going to have to flee. And maybe, when George told D&D for the show that Bran was king, they didn't tell him which Bran, and so
Or what he was king of.
or
What's
where
west of
he's
Westeros?
from.
Arya's gonna find Brandon the shipwright.
Right, maybe there's another King Bran chilling
I
somewhere.
fucking hate you. I don't like it when you do it. It's what I do. You don't do. I don't like that. That's a pretty good one.
It's foily. It's tinny. But, if it's going to go that way where the White Walkers win, sure. I'll take it out in the form of Brandon the fucking shipwright.
Sure.
Why not?
So Dawn begins to settle. Dawn.
I
Dawn
hate
begins
it.
to
I
settle.
hate it so much. I just said it. Oh, my God. Yeah. Dinner finished. Lightning and thunder began. Kapow!
It's the thunder. And
Doom
the
and
lightning.
gloom, as Catelyn will call it.
Thunder and the lightning.
Bran wonders how Summer is faring out in the rain and hopes that he got a deer, which would be dope.
And do we know that Hodor jumped when
Hodor
that thunder?
begins to-
He before it, with that first quiet where Bran started counting the thunder, that time between every kid does, and Hodor had jumped at the thunder there before starting to shout. So we can already see he's getting agitated, and the storm's just picking up before it gets crazy.
And Jojen again is like, yo, there's more people out there in the trees and shit.
Out more of them all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think he says, armed men, many and more. And Bran begins getting a little scared here. And Jojen fears that those men may seek shelter in the holdfast here. Hodor really begins to lose it as the thunder and lightning picks up.
Well, yeah, because right before that's where the first one where he shouted and picked up his sword and started kind of rocking back and forth, and Jojen was like, Mira, get that fucking sword out of his hands. Let's calm him down, Bran. And then he was like, wait, there's more men out there now.
Yeah.
And then the big lightning happened.
Yeah, because Bran asks him,
Zach got flipped around here.
Yeah, I got,
Your notes swapped?
lost in my notes a little bit here. Yeah, no, okay, it is in a bit here, the point I wanted to bring up, so.
Word.
Yeah, I'm good. But yeah, Mira, Bran, and Jojen all begin to yell Jojen's yelling at Mira and Bran to shut Hodor up, basically. And
Bran just yells at him first.
in a scared, shrill voice. Be quiet! And reaches up uselessly for Hodor's leg as he crashed past, reaching. And Hodor staggers a little bit, shakes his head back and forth.
Closes his mouth.
And then sits cross-legged. And the next boom of thunder he seemed to not hear at all as he slowly kind of starts rocking back and forth. And Mira asks Bran, what did you do? And he
Nothing.
says, nothing. I don't know. But he did. He reached for Hodor the same way he reached for Summer. He had been Hodor for half a heartbeat. It scared him. Okay, so this forcible mind entry we learn in the prologue to A Dance of Dragons that it is considered abominable by
at least some
wildling warg culture.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to mention just the violation of basic human rights to invade someone's mind and control them. Yeah, obviously framed as an accident here. Bran is panicking, trying to get Hodor to be quiet because there are men outside, armed and dangerous, and it's a scary situation. But there's a precedence, like, this is the discovery, this is Bran's gift, surfacing again, that not only can he fucking control Summer, he can do it to people.
Right. He can do something here.
Right. And, like, yeah, right now it's just he kind of shut him down and got him to go into a corner.
Yeah, but that's not a just. Like, he was rampaging and
right.
Boom, you're down.
And that was in a panicked, like, that wasn't really his intent.
There's no control over it, no thought behind it, just did it.
Scary capability for that power. But Jojen says he thinks he saw a man pointing up at the tower. And Bran says that, or thinks, I won't be afraid.
Right.
I'm the Prince of Winterfell, Eddard Stark's son, almost a man grown, and a warg, too. Summer would not be afraid. And so Bran says that it's likely the Umbers, or the Norries, or the Flints, or the Brothers of the Night's Watch. Jojen, are their cloaks black?
By night, all cloaks are black, my prince.
Your Grace.
Your Grace,
King Bran, thank you.
Oh,
is that Long Night foreshadowing?
I mean, I think that could represent the Long Night. Everybody's on the same
a brother
side.
of the Night's
You're either,
Watch.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's definitely Martin alluring to the, because, you know, obviously
there are
the
two
wildlings
sides
are
here.
going to be coming down to through the wall.
Right.
They're going to be inhabiting
They
this.
do begin
This is
joining
going
the
to be
Night's
their
Watch.
land.
Yeah.
The wildlings are going to be given this land. And so the fact that they're here and being seen is they're all the same, like, at this point. Norries,
yeah, I just
Umbers,
very much so felt
Greyjohns,
this was Long Night
wildlings.
foreshadowing. Like, this is that. This is, in the Long Night, we're all fucking brothers of the Night's Watch, because we're all that's left when this army of the dead comes creeping down. But Bran's like, yo, it doesn't even matter anyway if they don't know about the Causeway.
They don't know about the Causeway.
And Mira's like, yo, my God.
I forgot about the Causeway.
So she gives him a big old kiss on the cheek, and, like, Bran, I'm sure, is just over the fucking moon. But she's like, yeah, and even if they do know the night and the rain, like, no one's going to be doing that, which, like, Mira, why you got to go and say that horrifying shit? Because you're right. Zach would be, again, staying out in the fucking rain.
Can I also add in the fact that the rain itself hitting the top of the lake is going to displace the water enough where you're not going to be able to see it. You won't be able to see the Causeway, where at least they could have seen in the clear, like, maybe.
Oh my God,
but
stop.
No,
I hate
like,
it,
the
dude.
water's just, and what if it's not just raindrops? What if that's, like, fish or something popping up and biting at the water?
Do you want to be assaulted in this little booth that is the cubicle that is where we're recording?
So do you want me to end the chapter here, or do you want to actually slip into summer?
There's stuff to keep going,
know,
so
I'm
why don't you relax? Jojen's like, yo, the night will end at some point, and if the men remain here, ... Bran could feel Summer's fear in that bright instant. Interesting, considering that, about 3 paragraphs ago, he said Summer would not be afraid.
3 paragraphs ago. Same page, basically.
So he closed his 2 eyes and opened a third, and his boy's skin slipped off like a cloak. And he's out in the rain. Belly full of deer. Summer got that motherfucking deer.
I do love the fact that Summer experiences fear, and Bran doesn't. There's no I'm going to. There's no question about it. It's
hold that thought, because
Okay.
like, yeah, because there's some discussion to be had here. He's crouching in the brush, the scent of man under all the apples
It's hidden,
and the
but
wet
it's there.
leaves, and he sees a man with a stick blunder by. And I love the description here of the man had a skin pulled up over his head to make him blind and deaf. Because
Summer doesn't.
All it is, and basically we learn that it is that, like, Summer's right on the edge of this dude's vision, like, just prowling, and he can't see him because he's right at the edge of the hood. Like, Summer is like aware of that impairment that this human has, that the sound the rain hitting the fucking hood is gonna reverberate in his ears, so he's not gonna hear. Like, it's just, I love this writing style when Bran is in summer. But so he goes wide around him and hears talking, and beneath the scent of rain and leaves and horse came the sharp red stench of fear. And that's where the chapter ends and continues in John's. But is that the fear that Bran felt? It wasn't Summers. It was Summers smelling it.
Or was it Summers with the men?
Why? Like, Summer is literally being like, yo, they're dumb.
Because that one's dumb, specifically.
Right, but Summer's in control. He's on the perimeter, chilling in the brush, like belly full of deer. So he was obviously eating.
So did he warg backwards? If he was already, or was it the fear of that guy?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is
this the old man?
Is it a twofold fear that he's feeling? John's and the old man's. Like,
sure.
Is there this sort of kindredship here between John and Bran and the dire wolves, that the fear that pulls him in is a relatable Stark fear here of, like, it's not Bran's.
He was recognizing a Stark fear,
right.
Not that he was recognizing fear or seeing what the fear was.
Because it's interesting that on the same page it mentions that Summer would not be afraid. Like, and I get that that's also a young boy's thinking that a wolf wouldn't be afraid, but
no, but I agree. I don't think that Summer would be afraid of any of those men.
Right, not at this moment. Maybe if, like, Summer, took an axe to the hind leg and was retreating from it, and, like, then there would be the fear.
Summer's full, like,
but Summer's right.
Like,
Summer's full. Summer's, like, fucking
feeling
on
himself,
it. Yeah. So I don't think that the fear is coming from any fear for Summer.
So yeah, John or the man, the old man.
But right, and so, like, there's that first burst of fear, and then we get the sense of the apple and the wet leaves, and then we get the second one, which is the group with the old man when they're talking and shit. So, like, is there two sets of fear here? The John, the guilt, the pain of what he's about to do, and the old man. Like,
let's let the listeners think about
true.
it, and then we'll
thinking about it.
You
gotta think about it. Small council.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We had to get it in somehow. We had to let
this
them know.
Apparently is the fucking unintentional horror episode. So.
Yeah. Well, Brands are always creepy as fuck because it's just such weird shit. We get such, like, this is what's going on inside the tent with Mirri Maz-Dur when she was trying to bring back Khal Drogo. Is this kind of weird shit that he's doing, or at least that's what she leads us to believe.
Mirri Maz-Dur, like,
throwing,
waving
like,
a flashlight
paper
around and, like, every now and then, like, throwing up some confetti into the flashlight.
And she's dancing around in a sheet. She's got holes in just in case somebody looks in.
Yeah, Mirri Maz-Dur ain't got shit on my boy Bran.
Anyway, this chapter fucks with you, man.
Yeah,
so.
it's establishing a precedence for what's to come as they continue to travel north, as the Brandon's gift. That's what I'm going to call it now, just to be that cunt. Brandon's gift continues to develop, and we learn what he's capable of doing. And so we'll open it up with inductees. Mine is going to Bran, the POV of the chapter.
Oh, the actual this Brandon Stark.
Yes, this Brandon Stark. Because everybody gets one. The first one was an accident. I want to hold on to this humanity and not lose, because, like, show Bran as like a younger kid was all right, and then Isaac Wright kind of grew up a little faster than I think warranted for Bran and became, like, the super crazy robot. I adore Book Bran. Like, yeah. I do think he's a sweet, innocent victim.
Well, that's again what I was mentioning before.
Circumstance.
He doesn't necessarily have any tutelage that's instructing him that it's incorrect.
Right now, like, and Mira and Jojen are both not scribed in shit either. So, like, Jojen has dreams, but how much has he been told about all this?
Without having, I'm sure, and we'll get into it as we come through it. We haven't been able to, we haven't read it through this way to fine-tooth comb Bran's
Branny boy.
each warging into Hodor and how it is, and the responses from Hodor afterwards, how it affects him, how that's written in. But
Hodor.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Bran's a good one.
So that's my inductee.
Nice.
Yeah. Yours?
Mine is the architect of Queenscrown. The person who made this sweet tower. And so now, first I will give this quick thing. I did not intend for this, but also because it gives me more reason to talk about that fucking awesome, dark, murky maze path to get into the tower. It's just such a fucking sick concept. It's so awesome. Yes. Like, because they've got the, Bran mentions it because Lewin taught him that they can just sit there and pick people off as they're trying to make their way to the tower. Just nice and easy because, go ahead and rush through that without throwing boats down. And so I just really like that little maze under the water all hidden under the causeway.
Yeah, it's a nice call to the maze makers of Lorath on Brotherhood Without Fire. There's some creepiness to it.
Maybe there's a Minotaur here.
Some mysticalness to it. Don't even, the Minotaur cannot be showing up in fucking A Song of Ice and Fire because I will not shut the fuck up about the Minotaur and the whole killing of the father and the father's shame over the Minotaur. If we want to get into that, when we want to talk Minotaur.
Tyrion's the Minotaur?
Tyrion absolutely could be the Minotaur. He absolutely is the Minotaur in the fact that he
My
kills
inductee
his
goes
father.
to the architect of Queenscrown because I love
That's
the
a really
concept.
good one.
And so we have a
Bran the Builder? Question mark? Do you have a guess who it might be?
I don't.
Children? Because of the creepy maze?
No, I think it's a Bran. Bran.
Cold Hands?
I do not. Definitely. Bran is Cold Hands. Bran is Cold Hands.
Bran
is Cold Hands.
Yo, that's what it is. It's going to be Abraham Bran just showing up being
Bran.
I don't know. Bran is Cold Hands. It sounds like Abraham.
I think it was Bran, but I think that Bran the Builder was way later in time, or earlier.
Is that confirmed? That might even be confirmed in canon. I don't even know if there is a confirmed builder of Queenscrown, but listeners, if you know, that's a good one. The architect. We did, of course, get some inductees from our listeners. We got one from Kristen, who, wants to induct Old Nan, whose ghost stories came in handy for Bran and company, leading them to the underwater path. Of course, Old Nan. Old Nan's so prevalent in all the Stark kids, so she's always welcome. We always need a good story. Everyone needs a good story, especially a story with a lesson. Old Nan kills it.
Old Nan.
Thanks, Kristen.
Great inductee. So we also got an inductee from Erica in Hungary. And Erica's inductee for this chapter, who is a big favorite of mine. I think this chapter is a big favorite of hers. I'd like to induct Meister Lewin now because his teachings had such a great impact on all the Stark kids. Basically, he's very similar to how Old Nan was as well, including Jon, of course, because especially with the next chapter that's coming up, I believe he specifically will be mentioning the teachings of Lewin with regards to the wall as well, and all that, the new gift, rather, from the history there, but from a different perspective, the grown-up kid perspective instead. I'm going to stop interrupting her inductee, though. I love how all of them recall from time to time what Lewin taught them, along with Old Nan's stories, and in such great detail. The kids paid attention to historical facts and details, so he must have been doing a really good job teaching. Love how both Bran and Jon recognized this place from the stories. Lewin would be really proud of them. He's that one awesome teacher you had long ago, and still remember the stuff he had told you because he was just that cool guy full of knowledge. I think these kids have the best education imaginable in this world. Like a cool private school with Lewin, Old Nan, Sir Roderick, Micken, and basically everyone in Winterfell. It breaks my heart to think this is all lost now. Also, an important question. Do you think Old Nan still lives and we will see her again? Because I totally do. She's just too important to disappear. That's it for me from now. See you and take care. Erica, what do you think, dude? Nan, of course, is an immortal.
Thanks, Erica.
being.
Yeah, next we'll see Old Nan. She'll be Queen of the Dreadfort. Because I'm pretty sure that's where she is in current up-to-dateness. And, I believe she's alive. I hope she's alive. And as to whether we'll see her again, maybe?
Yes. Hard yes.
I feel like that could be an off-page descriptor thing that happens, but I'd like to see her
I feel like we're more
encounter
likely...
the grown-up, interesting change start. Like, if she could meet Bran again.
Sansa? Nah. Don't you? Yeah.
Well, like, right now with... I mean, no, that is good. That is a good one.
Tell me.
Don't interrupt me, bitch. Don't interrupt me.
I could definitely
Nan
see...
meeting Bran, because Bran in the stories, like all the stories that she told were of the North and the Wildlings and the White Walkers.
It'd
like
be more that.
That's why I feel like Sansa wasn't really into Nan's stories that much. Nan's telling these creepy ass shit. Sansa wants to go hear like the singers and the songs and the bards. Like Arya and Bran are sitting there like,
definitely
yeah, fuck yeah, this shit's dope.
See Ramsay doing some fuck shit just so that he could, like you said, off page.
Peel
I recall the old woman screaming in that, while I peeled her.
Didn't she used to tell you stories, bastard? Like when him and Jon Snow finally fucking, I don't know.
So since I was such a rambling guy, you read Amanda's.
Oh, right.
We also have an inductee from Amanda.
I had Amanda's pulled up already.
Yeah, jerk.
My inductee, Amanda says, my inductee for this chapter is Hodor. I know he is known for being super strong, but even so, carrying Bran all day, every day, has to be a hard job, and he does it with no more than a muttered Hodor. I have a 7-year-old, and I couldn't imagine having to carry him anymore. She also made a note to say that before she listened to us, she was never really considered what was occurring with Hodor and Bran being as kind of vulgar and bad as it is. She called it mind rape here, which I like. But honestly, I only looked at it as foreshadowing of what Bran may someday be capable of. Side note, I wonder if Bran warging Hodor, if he may somehow find the real Hodor locked inside. And that's an interesting one.
So, my thoughts on all of this. First of all, that's exactly what George was going for.
And it is. You
aren't supposed to see it as that mind, especially
not until dance. Like, it's only on the reread, of course, that you can understand that. Like, oh, Varamir Sixton says this is fucking bad.
Terrible.
Like, and then he still goes and does it.
And then you start thinking about the morality behind it.
But no, it is showing what Bran's going to be capable of as well. Like, we didn't know he could do this until here, and so it is that, like, oh damn, damn.
But I personally don't, unfortunately, think that there will be a Hodor to find.
I don't either.
I think that because of the way that, because I think that it's done basically how it happened in the show, where he's touched in the past in such a way that he ceases to exist at that point or progress. He is that. He grew up to that point, and now that's all he is. It's just Hodor, just kind of playing the motions, doing hand gestures to be the stable boy. But I don't think there's a Hodor in there. Maybe a 12-year-old Hodor who is altered, but it's going to be such a... It's like Voldemort in the train station. It's just this decrepit, poor soul that's been lost to everything because he's been trapped inside, broken.
I don't like that. Stop it. I'm kind of glad that they didn't attempt to explain in the show further what happened with Bran and Hodor, because I do think there will be some subtle, of course, differences in what actually happens. But yeah, my thinking is that we need to understand more about it to know if there even is a Hodor that isn't a Hodor, as the show called him, Willis. Like,
right.
I think we get his name.
Yeah,
we did. Yeah, it is Willis. Okay,
I'm pretty sure it's Willis.
I wasn't 100% if that was a book thing right now.
I forget too. It's
fucking exhausted. It's been a long week.
Yep.
But yeah, we need to know more about what this connection with Bran and him is, and so like, how is it just a loop? Does he remember? Is what I said about the inn true? Does Hodor recognize this as a landmark of his journey towards what happens to him?
Does he only become aware of them as he repeats them? Is he lost in a moment?
Right. Is he just living in sort of the Werewood network, just seeing all this shit happening and just Hodor, dude.
Fucking quarrel.
But it's always a good question to ponder, especially with the Bran Hodor connection, because it's gonna get deeper as we go. So
let us know what your thoughts are,
yeah.
And we will. Yes, thank you, Amanda, and we will get your inductees here. We will be reading what chapter next?
Next is going to be Jon 5.
Johnny Boy 5.
As John comes to leave the wildlings here at
Why
Queenscrown.
why did I just ask you?
I don't know.
Is when we've just been talking about it.
And so send us your inductees for that.
The one I was meeting, and that's Danny.
That will be
3.
Danny 4.
Danny 4.
Yep.
What do we know what Danny's doing? She's taking the city.
Yeah, she's taking the city.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get us inductees for John 5.
You can do that. Send us your emails, withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com. Send us messages on Facebook or however that may work over there, facebook.com/brotherhoodpodcast. Yeah, I nailed that one. Look at me go, man. 2 for 2. You can go to our website, which will just have a link to all these places, brotherhoodwithout.com. We have a Patreon. Check it out, especially now. Right now, we've got the Chloe featured episode, Aria 8.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that will be out for release a couple weeks after.
Yeah, that'll be coming out after the Danny episode comes out. And so a couple weeks from now.
For public release. But early access for that on the Patreon right now.
We recommend it because Chloe is fantastic. And it was such a good, fun episode.
So fun.
And so we're really proud of it. We're really happy. We were super excited to have her on. So
yeah, patreon.com/withoutmanners. Check that out. That also gets you access to the private Facebook group.
We're on the Twits. I think you said that.
I did not. I'm at Manners Without, Zach Carstark92.
Yeah.
And hit us up over there. We take inductees there, too. If you send us your inductees, we try to remember to check them.
It'll be fucking sick.
Leave us reviews. It will be fucking sick. Leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Google.
Podchaser. Fuck it.
Oh.
We're all over the place, man. Good pods. Good pods. That's a fun one. Good pods.
Are you threatening me?
I could be. I don't know. I think that it's about time we wrap this up. I'm tired. Are you tired? Great. Then we will see you on the next one.
Valor to Harris.
Peace.